Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel and I am a classically trained musician based in the UK and I am a massive Eurovision fan. So today what I wanted to talk about was my initial preliminary prediction as to who I think is probably going to struggle a bit in the semi-finals in terms of who's going to qualify and who's not going to qualify. Just a little disclaimer out there firstly, this is my personal opinion. It's probably not what's going to happen in the end because as of today I've only heard the songs or watched the music videos and we don't have the rehearsal footage yet, and I tend to kind of get a proper prediction list going once I've seen all the rehearsal footage, because then you can kind of put together how you think the public's going to respond to what that country is trying to achieve, whether that person is good singing live, that sort of thing. You can kind of corroborate a lot of things and then come up with a realistic prediction. So I've got a list here and I'm just going to go through semi-final 1 and then semi-final 2, and I've made a list kind of over the 7 non-qualifiers. I've gone about 8 or 9 for each semi-final because I think that firstly both of these semi-finals are really competitive this year, especially semi-final 1. We better watch out for that one. And to be honest, I think there's going to be at least 2 or 3 countries that are really going to be fighting for that 10th position to go through to the grand final, and I genuinely believe it's probably going to be down to the juries this year as to who's going to go through, because there is so much quality compared to last year. I have to really take my hat off to it. The contest this year, the quality has really improved, and I think the juries kind of look more at the quality. They're going to rank it without the politics, hopefully. They're going to rank it in their order of what they think is best and worst, and then that should hopefully translate to the public as well, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to start with semi-final 1. These are my 8 choices of who I think is going to struggle to make it to the grand final this year. So number 1 is Australia, and I'm kind of surprised that I'm saying Australia given that they have qualified every single year that they've been in the contest. But I have to say, if you forget about 2015, 2016 and 2019, they haven't really done that greatly. I feel like they've been overrated by the juries and the public just hasn't really responded to them. And if you think about last year as well with Kate Miller-Heidke, skipping 2020, it was such a fabulous performance and a great vocal, but the juries completely went overboard with the scores and the public didn't really give them what they deserved, I found. And then unfortunately they didn't come as high as everyone thought. When I watched their performance I thought they were going to win, and they ended up coming, I think, 8th place, which is still really good, but I think they deserve to come a lot higher than that. So for this year I've said Australia because it's the song, really. So the song's called Technicolor. It's supposed to be a hyper pop song. To be honest, it's not very memorable and it's a bit all over the place. Yeah, her vocals were really good when I saw her video on YouTube of her performing it at Mardi Gras. I just think that it's just not as memorable or interesting as their other entries have been, and I personally think when you're thinking about everything else that's in the semi-final upbeat songs, it's not going to stand out at all. I really do think at this stage that Australia is not going to qualify this year. I think about the implications of that because in a way they're only supposed to be in this contest for about 10 years, so they should be coming to an end. This contract still goes ahead in 2025, I believe, so they've still got 4 more contests to do. But if their qualification level slips a bit in the next couple of years, there is a chance that potentially they might not want to come back. Again, it depends on their delegation, how they respond to not doing so well, because they have been doing well, not gonna lie. But I do think that's one to watch because, yeah, I personally think it's not going to stand out. So next I've got Belarus. Now, we don't have the song. We had the song. I am not going to talk about that because I do not have time for that kind of crap on my channel. But to be honest, when I think about the band in general and their style of music, what they perform, if they come up with an alternative song this year, I still don't think it's going to match up to everything else they've got in that final. If you think about, for instance, other countries from Eastern Europe, like Lithuania, for instance, they're going to completely outshine Belarus. I don't think there's really much more to say, to be honest. And it's been a complete letdown this year, and it's such a shame. But anyway, next we have Ireland. Oh, I feel so bad saying this because last year I didn't really like the Irish entry. But this year they really kind of stepped up, and I really do appreciate the song they've sent this year. I think it's a really good quality piece of music, and it's definitely more sophisticated, I would say. Problem is it enough to stand out amongst everything else we've got this year in semi-final one? Unfortunately, it's too vanilla. It's just not, it's not different enough for someone to pick up the phone and vote for them. It's definitely a step in the right direction compared to 2019, where they came absolute dead last. But in reality, this isn't going to qualify, unfortunately. Then I've got North Macedonia. So last year I quite liked their song. I felt like it wasn't really Vasil's style. I think he was sort of jumping onto a bandwagon of doing up-tempo dance tracks because apparently those do well at Eurovision, when actually he's a classically trained singer and his style is more operatic / kind of musical theatre. So this year they've gone for something like that with the song they've sent. But it is literally like a pot of Stilton melted. It is the cheesiest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I kind of love it, but I just think it's so tongue-in-cheek and so over the top, especially the spoken word at the beginning when he talks about Eurovision being cancelled and how like he just played the piano in his bed or something. It was sweet and endearing, but it was also very strange, and I just don't know how people would respond to that sort of thing, whether they'll keep that bit into the live performance or not, I don't know. But the song itself is just, it's sort of like something from The Lion King, the musical. I don't know, it's very strange, and I don't think it's going to qualify. I don't think it has a chance at all in qualifying. I think the only points he will pick up is jury points from appreciating how amazing his voice is, and I think he's going to blow people away with how amazing his voice is. But in terms of like the actual song and how they're going to execute this on stage, I just don't see a chance in hell of this qualifying. Right, the next one I have here is Slovenia. Now, I genuinely think this might come last place, to be honest. Now, this is a controversial topic, I'm not going to lie, but I think it has to be said. This song makes me really uncomfortable because I've got nothing against Anna Soklic at all, and she is a fabulous singer. She sings so well, and it gives me goosebumps when I hear her sing. I really think that she has a great voice, and I definitely appreciate that. What I don't like is that I find the song is very contrived. I think they really need to think about what they're doing, especially in this present climate when you're basically almost appropriating black culture by having the gospel choir and the thematic thing going on with like Christianity, and that's really good and everything. Like, I've got nothing against that, but what I find slightly daunting is that she's like the main focus. She is the act. Like, she is the main focus on the stage singing, but then you've got the black singers, gospel singers carrying the performance backstage. And I'm like, bring those people out and showcase them. That's what I think they need. They need to change that, because no one's got time for that type of thing anymore. I'm tired of seeing that happen, and I think they need to really consider the message they're sending if they're going to do that. And I hope I'm not reading into this too far. And obviously I'm not black either, so I don't understand the intricacies of things like that, but at the same time what I'm seeing is literally a white woman singing with black people singing backstage to boost and swell out the track. And it's like, put those people on the stage, like with the Mamas 2 years ago, and showcase their talent. Don't cover it up. But put that to the side. I also think the song is just a little bit bland as well. I don't like the chord progressions, and I'm not really a fan of the lyrics. I think it's just very sort of generic, and again, it's very contrived. It's like it's sort of telling you that this is a spiritual song, but I don't feel the spiritualness to it. Some people might feel it, but I personally, I don't really take anything from it. So I think people are not going to really resonate with this song very well, especially Christians who watch the show, and non-Christians as well, who aren't going to really feel a connection to the lyrics. They're just going to feel kind of like this is a very redundant piece of music, and it's very kind of like a play on words rather than having an actual meaning. But if you disagree with me, obviously comment and let me know what you really think about it. That's my personal perception of it. I will write a proper review on my blog about this, which I'll link in the description. But I personally don't think this is going to put on the heartstrings of either the juries or the public. I really don't think this is going to do anything. I will move on now to Belgium. So it breaks my heart that I've had to put them on my list, because I really do like the song, and I think it's a massive step up from last year. Last year's song was kind of dull, and it didn't really do anything to me when I listened to it, which is a shame because the band is such a great band and they're established. There are other pieces of music I really enjoyed listening to before I even knew that they were going to be in the contest. The issue is with this year is that the song's going to be swallowed up by a bunch of kind of interesting and eclectic other pieces of music. And yeah, I really like the indie rock sound of the song. I like the woman's vocal, and I think it's a really interesting song meaning as well in terms of lyrics. But if I'm being honest, it will be swallowed up, and it's not going to stand out unless they do something really spectacular with the way they stage the song, and also when the woman sings live, that her vocals are on point and that people appreciate it, because she does have a very unique voice, and I think it will stand out. So to me, that's sort of on the borderline. I think it could scrape through. I do think it could scrape through, but it would have to really wow on the night, so I think let's keep an eye on that one. Next I have Israel, and again, I can't believe I've put this one down as well, but I have to be honest, again, compared to last year, Israel's song is a complete downgrade. It kind of broke my heart when I listened to it, because last year I put Israel was in my top 10. They really had something special going with the fusion of the different languages, the different musical styles, Israeli culture, Ethiopian Jewish culture merged together, and it was fantastic. Her singing was amazing, the dancing was amazing. I felt like people would respond really well to this. This year's song, it's sort of, there's nothing wrong with it, it's not a bad song, it's just not very interesting, and it doesn't have that je ne sais quoi like last year. Again, I think she's going to absolutely deliver on the live vocals. She hits a high E and a high F, I think an F4 or an F5. I think it's an F5, F sharp 5, which is very difficult to hit. I can't hit that note, but I know that Eden Eleni, when she sang it, she belted the note as well, so I think that showcases amazing talent. But that's the only kind of like show-stopping moment of the song. I know it's going to have a revamp, but what much else can they do to it? There's not really much room to completely change it and make it really, really good. I just don't see that happening unless the actual skeleton of the song is just ripped away and they start from scratch. I really don't even think this has a chance of qualifying. I think it's going to be really difficult to get out of that semi-final, and I think Israel will be disappointed because they would have had an extremely high chance last year of qualifying. But now,
not so much.
My number 8 for semi-final 1 is Norway. Again, what's going on this year? Last year, yeah, I'll admit I didn't really like their song last year, but I appreciated the fact that it would have done really, really well. it was a bit of a power ballad. I don't tend to be a fan of power ballads. But this year, they've got some sort of angel wing costume going on. They've got a tinny trap beat underneath, and they've got, yeah, okay, I like that they sing in Norwegian, but the lyrics, when you translate them into English and when he actually sings them in English, what does it even mean? It's nothing meaningful and deep. It's just sort of words that sound meaningful.
I'm a fallen angel. I try to fly, but I'm not able.
But actually, it's very surface level, very contrived, and I'm just not a fan. I will say that Norway are popular with the televoters, and this does have a chance of going through. I feel like if this doesn't go through, it will be because they're 11th place. Like, I don't think this is going to come bottom of the semi-finals. I do think this is going to struggle more than people think it will. But then again, we will see with the staging, it might completely do a 180 and be really good, as long as they don't stage it like they did at Melody Grand Prix, because I can't get on board with that staging. Just not very good. So moving on to semi-final 2, I think this one is slightly less predictable in terms of who's going through, because we've got some standout songs like Switzerland and Bulgaria. But then I've got 9 songs here which I think are, what's the word? They're just not for definite songs I would consider to be good songs. I personally think it's more unpredictable. So the songs I've got here, I've got Austria first. There was a complete change up of style with Austria. They still have Vincent Bueno from last year. Last year he did the sort of Bruno Mars style, New Jack Swing. This year he's gone for something more kind of spiritual. It's called Amen, just like on a sock clinch for some reason. This is my preferred of the 2 Amen songs, because this one feels more personal to him, and the way he delivers it as well, it feels more his style of music rather than last year. But I do think it gets a little bit boring after a while, and the music video elevates it to a level where I think that can't be translated on stage, and it's literally going to be him singing this song and it's going to send people to sleep. And especially as it's in the first half, the semi-final as well, I think this might struggle a little bit to kind of stand out. And when I'm looking at all the other songs here, I think that the fighting chance it has is a little bit more kind of, it's not as obvious to me. And then I've got the Czech Republic. Again, the Czech Republic have really improved this year in my eyes. I really did not like their song last year, and I thought the production was just completely abysmal. But this year, they really improved, and they took all the elements that were good about last year's song, capitalised on it, and then made it even better. And I feel like the melody is more memorable here. I definitely think that if they stage this well with good colours, a nice bit of dancing in there, I think it could go through. But it will scrape through. It's not a definite qualifier. But like, I've put this on my list because, again, I think maybe this is more of a song that young people respond to, and the elder generations maybe not so much. And I think they could, in terms of jury, I don't think that's going to do them any favours in a way. So I do think that's one to watch out for. Then I've put Estonia as well. Hats off to Estonia, their song is a lot better this year. Last year it was in my bottom 10. I thought last year's song was so dated, cheesy, it was just not interesting. This year it's better. I like the production value, it's got that 80s feel to it, it's got a good synth and good bass. The music video is good as well, and I think the song is better suited to his singing voice. I think last year I thought there was a discrepancy between his singing voice and the song. It felt like it should be sang by someone with a more angelic voice rather than someone with a kind of husky voice. But this year they've definitely kind of married with the production and his voice together, and it really works. But again, thinking about what's going on in the semi-final, it might kind of get overshadowed by other songs. So I don't see this going through. they'd have to really pull out the stops with the staging. Then I've got Moldova. So Moldova this year have improved, I would say. I personally find the song this year to be kind of kitsch and very strange, especially in the music video when she rips his face off like, and it's a piece of cake. That really gave me nightmares, to be honest, and I hope they really, I just don't want them to do that this year on stage or show a video of it, because it just, I'm just thinking about it now, it's making me feel uncomfortable. But I do like the kind of Balkan elements they've got in the melody line and in the production. There's also that novelty factor with the dancing ice creams, and that might translate well. I don't know if they'll stage it that way. And she really comes alive on stage as well. Natalia Gordienko, I think she is a performer, and that will translate. Moldova do have a bit of diaspora, and they do have support from their neighbouring countries in terms of televoting, so that could help them go through. But again, I think they will be fighting it off with the Czech Republic and Austria in this case, in terms of who's going to get that 10th place spot. Then I've got Poland. I've got Poland as a possible qualifier. I know this song has got really bad response from Polish fans, and in fact the neighbourhood where I live has got a big Polish community, and I went to the supermarket the other week and I actually overheard a Polish couple talking to someone else who I think was an English speaker, because they were talking in English, saying how much they hate the Eurovision entry this year. So it really is sort of a widely known fact that the song they've sent this year is not been well received. But then I think about it and I'm like, I actually kind of like the song. I'm not going to kind of sugarcoat it here. It's not brilliant, but I think it's got something to it that other songs don't have. I think it must be the production. It kind of sounds like Dua Lipa's Physical in terms of the 80s synth they're using. The trouble is here is that the singer Rafael has a reputation for not really being a good singer, and I don't see Eurovision permitting a live auto-tune on the microphones. He might be able to ride off the backing vocals that he can bring in pre-recorded to the contest, but whether that's enough to kind of boost him up, I don't really know. They have a big diaspora with the voting, and that always helps them go through. And in fact, I know Tulia from 2019 came 11th, so they almost went through to the grand final, but at the same time, the juries really let them down. And I don't think the juries are going to like this song. I'm just thinking about it. Unless it's the juries from Ukraine and Belarus, maybe the Czech Republic as well. They might, kind of the neighbouring countries, they might respond to it well, but I personally don't think the jury from the UK, for instance, or anyone from Italy or France, something like that, I don't think they're going to respond well to this. I do have it as a potential qualifier, but I'm not going to write it off, but I don't see this going through smoothly to the grand final. Then I've got Albania. I do think this one has been underrated by the betting odds. They've got it in last place. I honestly don't think this deserves to be last place at all. It's a good song. I just don't really think it's interesting, to be honest. It's got like a rhythm to it, traditional rhythm, and it's got like this dun 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 conclave rhythm, and it's got a bass line underneath it which drives it forward. At the same time, it gets very tired and it gets very kind of repetitive, and then you suddenly throw in a trap beat in the middle 8 to switch it up and add a bit of edge, but really all it does, it just sort of makes me think that the producer's like,
oh, this doesn't sound modern enough, I'm just going to throw this in,
and hopefully it will get response from
the younger people.
when actually it really sounds like it's gone through a washing machine and come out like too many elements in one. Literally, you know, a white shirt has turned pink by now. It's not good enough. I do think she'll sing really well. Again, they went through in 2019, but I think the backing singers were the reason why they went through. The backing singers in 2019 really drew me in, and I felt like they did a great performance, whilst I felt like Yanida Malici was so flat in her performance. She was a whole tone off the backing track, and I was surprised that not many people noticed this in the comments when I was going back to her video. I was like, can anyone hear that this woman is singing so out of tune that she's a whole key below what she should be? I couldn't believe it. I do think this year, though, it's not going to be a qualifying year for Albania. I don't think they'll come last, but I do think they will struggle to go through. Then next I've got Denmark. This is a definite contender for one of the last places this year. I'm as shocked and appalled at what they have sent this year, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Maybe you like the song, guys, but in my honest opinion, this is like the band ABC have resurrected but eaten like a whole packet of cheese. It's really, really bad. It's just like 80s music being performed at the kids' club on a cruise ship. And you've gone from Ben and Tan last year to this. I don't like being negative, but this is just not good enough. Not good enough. There's no way in hell this is going to qualify.
Not in a million years.
It's not my taste, to put it lightly. It's not my taste. It's some people's taste. I've seen people put this in their top 15, but I've seen people put this dead last, and I just think in terms of the general public, this is not going to do well. Moving on, I've got Georgia. This is another kind of disappointment for me because I really loved their song last year and I felt like they would have qualified, but this year the song is just way too lethargic. It's interesting and I like the production, but after a while it doesn't even feel like a 3-minute song. It feels like it goes on for 6 minutes, to be honest. I think he's got a great voice though. Like, I really love his singing voice, but to be honest, this is not going to qualify. It's not even going to have a fighting chance of going through. And then I've got Portugal here. I genuinely think this will be last place, to be honest, Portugal. And again, like last year, I absolutely could not stand their song. And they've kind of got it even worse because they've sent someone who, I mean, looks so cool, but sounds like that singer Anastasia, and sings a song where I can't even find the melody line. There's no melody line. And it's just sort of like, again, this isn't 3 minutes, this feels like 5 minutes. And it really does send me to sleep. And again, I don't like being negative here, but it just, I have to be honest, brutally honest, that what a downgrade from 2019. I was shocked and hurt to see that Conan Osiris didn't go through in 2019. I think that definitely deserved to go through. But this does not deserve to go through, and I really hope that they change their ways because at the moment they're just not delivering anything that's worthy of qualifying at all. And it's a shame they've gone from winning in 2017 to literally cruising at the very bottom of what I think is the quality of the songs. This is one of the worst of the year, next to Denmark. But positive thing about it, I like the live band and I like the instrumentation. That was good. That was, I thought, was better than Denmark, who had a sort of fake instrument sound, apart from the violins, which was nice. Yeah, so that's what I think is going to happen so far in the semi-finals. But what do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Another point I wanted to quickly make, actually, was that look at the list of songs which I don't know are going to go through, right? Think about the big 5 right now. 3 of the big 5, or 6 if you think about it with the Netherlands, half of those do not deserve to be in that grand final this year. I'm thinking Spain, Netherlands, and Germany. Those 3 songs are taking the spot of 3 of these songs, which are not going to go through. And what a shame. to be honest. It's such a shame, and sometimes I wonder the point of the Big Five, because the only decent thing, there's two decent things about it from my perspective. One, the money that gets injected into the contest, brilliant. Two, the UK gets to perform, because let's be honest, the UK would never ever go through to the grand final. This year they do deserve to be in the grand final because they've pulled out stops. But if I'm thinking about, especially with Germany, that is taking the place of a much more deserved entry. And it does make me feel sad, because come May, we're going to see at least one of our favourites not qualify. But then we're going to have to see Jendrik performing I Don't Feel Hate, and
It's gonna make me feel hate.
so anyway, thank you for watching my video, and I hope I haven't offended anyone. I do tend to rant a bit, but I am passionate about Eurovision. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want to see more content. Like and comment and share it. You know, I don't mind. Tell me what you think. I really do get excited about reading everyone's comments, and I am so interested in what other people think. So anyway, more content to come in the future, and thanks for watching.